All right, we're on the air. Hello, everybody. Um, so much has happened in the last, I don't know, hour maybe, and it's all garbage. And I'm here to talk about it because now Ethan Van Sciver has admitted conspiracy to commit theft, and he's encouraging Donald to steal from me. Comicsgate actively supports theft. They're open about it. It's pretty blatant. They support theft. There's no two ways about it. There's no way around it. Ethan's endorsing this now, and he's encouraging Donald to steal from me. Um, there's been some stuff about it on Kiwi Farms. There's been some stuff on Twitter. There was an Indiegogo update today, and we'll get through all of that. But please hit the thumbs up, guys, or thumbs down, whichever you prefer, and share out the link to this stream. And let's get some more eyeballs on this because this is absolutely not right. What's happening? Um, creators, um, creators that brag about making millions of dollars like Ethan brags recently I saw on Twitter he bragged. He's like, I've made $3 million on frog books. Ethan could brag about that and then steal from a guy that has $3,000 from his name. Well, Ethan's not doing the stealing, but he's conspiring in it. He's encouraging Donald to steal from me. He's telling Donald that it has his blessing. um, it's got the blessing of CG. And so I don't know, guys. I'm gonna see if Ethan wants to come on here. I told him he's invited. I haven't seen his message. I haven't sent him the link yet. We'll probably talk about this stuff a little bit. Then I'll send him the link and see if Ethan wants to come by. But there's no way he could look good in any of this. He's encouraging Donald to steal from me now. He's doing it out in the open. He's a little bit triggered, probably a lot triggered actually, by the Rick Rolled video. He kind of told me in a DM that that's sort of why he's doing this. And let's see, we've got 10 people in here. So yeah, I mean, I guess we could start taking it. Well, I'm gonna look at the chat first. Let's see, we've got like 3 or 4 messages here. But anyways, guys, yeah, share out the link. Let's get some more people in here. To take a look at this, and I'll look at Kiwi Farms and Twitter and stuff, and I'll see if Ethan wants to come in. But Robot Mechanics says, gotcha and shared. Thank you. Melter says, CG have been stealing creators and stories to pass off as original since the pros came and took over CG. VM Rees here says, Donald Chupalo. Uh, Ethan endorses criminal activities. Yes, he does, and this is absolute undeniable proof. And um, I'm gonna share my screen now, and we'll take a look at this stuff. But also, just a reminder: the links to my books are in the chat and description. Um, Let me get this shared here, and we'll take a look. I mean, I guess we'll start with the campaign here. Oh, there might be some new comments I haven't checked yet, but I got this update earlier while I was at work, and Donald is saying, "Use guys made this possible. Ready to ship Monday, October 5th. Mistakes made, promises broken, valuable lessons learned. Moving on and moving forward with improvements to avoid those mistakes again, and hope to see all of you in the next round. Can't thank every one of you enough, and Ethan Van Sciver for his invaluable help and guidance. Forever grateful to you all." So he clearly has it already, and he still has not paid me. And I sent him an email today. I sent Donald an email because he blocked me on Twitter and he blocked my number. At least he says he blocked it. I don't know how to tell, but he blocked my number and blocked me on Twitter. I sent him an email and I said, "Well, it looks like you've got everything packed up. Look, you could see one, two, three. Is there a fourth one up there? You could see at least 3 shelves here full of boxes." And he says they're ready to go out on the 5th. They're going out the 5th, so it looks like everything's done. Everything's done, ready to go out. So where's my money? And I email him, and he ignores me. He ignores me. And then on the farms, over on Kiwi Farms, I don't know if there's been anything new. Maybe we'll refresh it and see. But I posted a screenshot of that, and I said, "So where's my half?" And then right here, Ethan says, "I like how he thanked me for guidance. Get your book done and pay Nasser. And then don't worry about paying Nasser." So Ethan's out in the open about this. And I DM'd him about it. And he says, yes, that's exactly what he's telling Donald to do because he's mad about the Rick Rolled video. And for those that didn't see it, although I'm sure all of you did, there was a Rick Rolled video that I made where I said I was returning to CG. It's only a minute and 12 seconds. And then, it's like, "Oh, I'm returning, guys. I made some mistakes." And then it's just Rick Rolled at the end. But he did it. It's Ethan admits conspiracy to commit theft. He's an accessory now. CG endorses theft. There's no way around it. There's really not any way. He's out in the open about this. Ethan's out in the open about this. He told Donald not to pay me. Donald says the books have all been prepared here. They've all been boxed up. He's paid for the postage. He's going to make one trip on the 5th. He said that in an earlier update that it's just going to be one trip. So he's got it all ready to go. He knows what the expenses were, and he refuses to pay me because he's stolen all of the money. He stole all the money. He stole all of it, and Ethan gave him the blessing. CG fully endorses theft. CG fully endorses it. There's no way around it. Let me stop screen sharing here. Let's see. What a whiny baby. Let's see. Amazing how much butthurt a 1-minute Rickroll video can create. That's true. You hurted EVS feelings with that video. Ethan's in the chat. Ethan, I'm going to send you the link. If you want to come on, you could come on. And I'm going to send you the link now. Let me get Twitter open. And I'm going to send you the link, man. And we could talk about this. Here, I'm sending the link now. You have the link. You have the link, Ethan. You can come on and talk about this if you want. We'll see if he comes by, Ethan. Hopefully you can, and we can talk about this, because I don't like this, man. You brag about making $3 million on frog books, and then you encourage somebody to steal from me when I have $3,000 to my name. Donald has the whole $39,000 campaign plus vestige plus cash grab, and Ethan, you have $3 million. Me, I have $3,000 to my name, and you guys that make way more money than me are stealing from me and encouraging theft. Ethan, you say you'll stay here and enjoy the show. Why won't you come on it, man? Why won't you come on and talk about it? Why can't we talk about this, Ethan? Why can't you come on? Don't hide, man. Come on. I can't send Donald the link. He blocked me. I mean, I will if he unblocks me right now. I'll send him the link. He could come on and we could talk about this. You could come on and talk about this. Ethan, you've got the link. Let's see. Donald's paying me your $3,000 to promote Brutus. That's actually a little bit funny, but come on, man, Ethan. Come on the stream, man. You've got the link. Come on, let's talk about this. Why are you encouraging theft? Why are you encouraging this? Ethan, you talk about making $3 million. Cash Grab made $250,000. And Vestige made, I don't know, I think it got to $100,000. And he has all $39,000 from our campaign. He has it all. He has all that money. You have $3 million. I have $3,000 to my name, and you're going to encourage Donald to steal from me. That is messed up, man. That is messed up. Let's see what else is going on. Monster Force says Ethan's a criminal. Well, he's an accessory now to it. Conspiracy to commit theft. Ethan won't go on because he is a woman. Oh boy, Ethan's saying it here. He says, I encourage everyone to steal from Nasser. He's not even hiding it. Why would you want to talk to Ethan? I don't know. He's coming off as the expert here in what happened in this whole campaign. It's super professional right there. Yeah, how does this give CG a good name at all? How is this good for CG, Ethan? You tell us. Come on, man. You have the link. You could get on here and talk about it. Ethan, stop being a little female dog and be a man. For real, get on here, Ethan. Get on here. Why won't you come on here? You're encouraging Donald to steal from me, and you won't even talk to me to my face. Come on, Ethan. Why won't you talk to me to my face? Why can't we come on here and talk about it? You had no problem telling me in my DMs that it's absolutely fine for Donald to steal from me. So why can't you come say it on the air? We were just DMing about this, and you said it's absolutely fine. And you're encouraging this? You're triggered about the Rick Roll video? About a minute video? And that justifies theft? CG endorses theft. They completely endorse it. So come on, Ethan. Prove me wrong. You have the link. Come on and talk about it. And you give Donald the link, too. You could send it to him. I'm staying here. What is the problem? The problem is you're endorsing this. You're endorsing theft. Come on and explain it. Why are you endorsing theft, man? Come talk about it. You're the one telling him he could steal from me, then you're too chicken to come on here and talk about it? I endorse Donald giving your money to his wife's boyfriend. Um, let's see. EVS is associate with Donald. Maybe he's the wife's new boyfriend of Donald. Interesting, interesting. Maybe so, maybe so. But I don't know, guys. I'm posting the link here to my books on Amazon, guys. I got 5 of them, and Ethan and Donald can't steal from me. If you guys buy my books on Amazon, they can't steal from me. I have 5 books you guys could get. They can't steal from me. If you guys buy those books, they can't steal from me. Amazon's gonna pay me. I get money from these sales, and that's money they can't steal from me. Matthew's got a bail. Matthew's got a great channel. You should all check it out. We've got 23 people in here. Everybody go check out Matthew D. Reese's. Or is it Rice's? I always forget. Check out his channel. He's got a great channel. Buy Nasser's books. This is a stunt to get you to buy his books. It's not a stunt, Ethan. It's not a stunt. If I'm gonna stream about this, I'm gonna promote my books, but it's not a stunt. Donald not paying me is not a stunt. I bought all Nasser's Eternity Trilogy books and I backed Cyberfrog 2. I just kick everyone. Well, you can buy whatever you want, man. Ethan, this is a blatant lie. You say you're still helping? You're not helping. I'll go along with your grift. It's not a grift. It's not a grift, man. Right. Wasn't CG just a stunt to sell frog books? Receipts, screen caps, etc. We looked at some at the start of this, but I'll share my screen again, and we could take a look at this again. Here we go with StreamYard. There we go. All right, so well, it starts over here with Donald showing all the books. They're all ready to go out. And he had said in the past, he's like, well, he has to wait until I ship everything. And now that everything's ready to ship, postage has been paid. He paid for it on stamps.com. Everything looks like it's all taped up in these boxes. And he says ready to ship Monday, October 5th. And he's ready to ship. And so he knows the split now. He knows the split. He's known the split for a long time. And he's refused to pay me. And now that he's ready to ship it out, he's still not paying me. I sent him an email and he's ignored me. He hasn't said anything. I told him he knows the split now. So what is it? And he's ignoring me. And then when I post about this over on the farms here, and well, one more thing I have to reference here, how he thanks Ethan at the end of this. Ethan says, I like how he thanked me for guidance. Get your book done and pay Nasser, and then don't worry about paying Nasser. He's actively encouraging theft. We DM'd about it a little bit, and I didn't show the DMs. Maybe if Ethan gets on here, we could talk about him. If he wants. I don't know. Maybe I'll show them. Okay. Hold on. Let me stop screen sharing for 1 second. So I was reading something on my phone. Let's see. Yeah, wasn't CG just the stunt to sell frog books? I guess so. How many of those did you pack up, Nasser? Half of them? That's not the point, Ethan. The agreement was always 50%. I wrote the book. I created the whole backstory. I created the backstory. I wrote the comic. I wrote 4 issues of it. And I was the one that had all the connections. If it wasn't for me, he wasn't getting on your show. And I had the name. I fulfilled Stardust. I had the name. I had the reputation. I had the connections. I got him on your show. I got him on Malin's show, on Art T. Bear's show. All the CG shows we went on were my connections. Without me, he had no connections. We always agreed on 50%. So you can't change it now and say, did you pack up half of them? And again, Ethan, since you're the expert, why don't you come on here and talk about it? Ethan is still thinks Cyberturd is more popular than Sonichu. Delusion Van Sciver. Let's see. CG was just dynamite for shade. Can we just all agree mosquitoes suck? If it was, it worked. Oh wait, is that about the stunt right here? Whatever. Ethan, just come out of the closet already. No, we don't have to go into insults like that, man. But come on, Ethan. If you're the expert here in the chat, you're the expert about it in my DMs, why can't we come on here and talk about it, man? CG endorses theft. There's no way around it. There's absolutely no way around it, Ethan. There's no way around it. Well, let's see. Ethan, if you're not going to come on, I might as well invite some other guests. People have been, well, Thomas Royalip messaged me. He wants to come on. So if Ethan's not going to come on, I guess I'll invite Thomas on because he messaged me saying he'll come on if Ethan doesn't. I'm right here. Ethan's too chicken to come on. All right, Ethan. But all right, I'm gonna just give me a second, guys. I guess I'll invite Thomas on here then. All right. Thomas has a link now. Since Ethan's too scared to come on here. Right here, I endorse Donald stealing from Nasser. Ethan's not hiding it. Ethan's not hiding it. Hey, Thomas, how's it going?
Oh, I am good.
Oh, man, Ethan's not hiding it. This is like the, I don't know, second or third time he said, I endorse Donald stealing from Nasser. Said it blatantly here in the chat. You can see up on the screen.
Yeah, I just saw
he-
the screen caps. I mean, it's really just confirming what we already knew ahead of time, of course. I mean, all of it. I'm not saying like SWC was saying it all along, and you know how much I like to say that, but we've known, all of us, a lot of people who have dealt with Ethan in the past have known, and don't, some people don't really talk about it openly. It's an open secret in sort of behind closed doors in Comicsgate that Ethan Van Sciver stole from people or ripped people off or has these giant screaming meltdown baby bitch fits and that kind of stuff. And, he's having a harder time hiding it these days. But it's funny because I've heard so many other people who knew Ethan Van Sciver personally are coming out and saying, yeah, he would have these big screaming fits at people and all that kind of stuff. Even from War Campaign, who were not just his best friends, as Ethan himself put it, but basically something that Ethan himself invented
yeah.
to be like his attack wing for when his feelings were hurt, which is, what they themselves admitted, and that he would come in and scream at people to their Discord or something when they did something he didn't like or whatever, which apparently wasn't too often, but it was often enough for them to remember. But he did also steal from people with the whole Ribbit coin thing. He absolutely did know that was a fraud and it was illegal. And he didn't care. Like behind the scenes, Ethan Van Sciver said, "I don't care."
Right, like that was at least the first time that we might know of that Ethan's been involved with fraud. At least that's the only one that I know for a fact that comes to.
Well, the old commissions fraud where he would take money from commissions at conventions and then just pocket the money and never draw anything. A lot of people had story like going back here.
I actually didn't hear about that. I don't think.
You remember that old stream that we had from the statue forums where a bunch of his own fans were like, yeah, I really like his art, but I paid him for this drawing. And then he just never delivered. And then he actually came in and admitted that he didn't do the art and that he was behind. And he just started making all these excuses. They're like, okay, so where's the money then? And that's all the people who asked for money who brought it up. Some of them got refunds, but a lot of people just never asked for a refund. They're just like, well, I guess that money's gone.
Yeah, but now he's being like really open about it, saying, well, because this time he's not technically doing the stealing. He's just an accessory in it. He's telling Donald that it has his blessing. CG fully endorses this. Somebody already told me
Ethan does, and Comicsgate just goes along with what Ethan.
Somebody told me on Facebook, they're like, oh, but he's not the leader. I'm like, well, yeah, he is. You've all admitted he's the leader.
Yeah, they made him the leader. They do.
There's no way around it.
If he's not the leader, then when he says something, they don't have to do it, but they do it anyways. That is what a leadership position is.
And then I've already had all these idiots in the last few minutes where they're like, well, why don't you just get over it? Like, this is over on Facebook. This guy's like, why don't you stop whining about it? And
yeah, none of them would do
I'm like,
that,
well, how would they act if a whole $39,000 campaign got stolen from them? But oh wait, nobody buys their books, so they're never going to see a $39,000 campaign.
Yeah,
I saw it, and it all got ripped from me.
Yeah, that's something that's like saying, if somebody stole money from you, it's like, well, don't do anything about it. Nobody would do that. They're
Right.
just making excuses for it's the what we call the Cape Cuck cope in the Comicsgate laughing at business. If Comicsgate was a stock, I would have shorted it last year and I would be a multi-millionaire by now.
Well, Ethan's too scared to come on, but he's messaging me about it. He says, "So when someone f's with you, you start crying. F, dude. Well, come on, man. You claim this is the thing.
Angry
Ethan is like,
that's
oh,
Ethan's skin showing.
Well, no, but here's the thing. Ethan's like, I've made $3 million on frog books. He was posting this on Twitter just a couple days ago. He's like, I just crossed the $3 million mark on all my campaigns together. I made $3 million. And then you look at the other books Donald's working on. Donald and Cecil made probably $250,000 together with Cash Grab, Vestige. War Campaign brought in $100,000. That's the book
War
that Donald drew.
Campaign
That's the book
taking
Donald
money
drew for
from
them.
a
So,
doxing ring? Why would you do
but
that?
but no,
But
here's
also,
the thing.
that's counting the shipping costs too, by the way.
But here's the thing: is like Donald gets to work with these other people, and their campaigns raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ethan brags about making $3 million. So all these guys with more money than me, I'll be honest, I have $3,000 in my bank account. That's it. While Ethan brags about being a millionaire. So this millionaire here is telling people to steal from me. He's encouraging it.
He's an accessory to theft.
He is. He is.
On the legal
He's
side.
an accessory to it, and he doesn't want to come on here and talk about it. He's too chicken. Ethan, how does this paint CG in any sort of good light? How is this good for CG? You endorsing theft?
I mean, Ethan's kind of a creep. I wouldn't want to be on with him personally. He's like kind of kid touchy in a way.
Well, in our messages,
Liam, by the way,
in our
Liam
messages,
very kid touchy too.
In our messages and in the chat right now, he's been acting like some expert on the situation. So I thought he'd come on here and talk about it. Because Donald blocked me. I can't invite Donald. I told Ethan he could invite Donald since Donald doesn't have him
somebody
blocked.
who stole money from? That's
Right.
even worse. I mean,
Right.
where's
What's he
the
scared
whole
of?
respect for the customer, respect for the creator kind of thing? Comicsgate couldn't be more anti-customer.
They couldn't
or
be more
creator.
SJW. They couldn't be. They're worse than SJWs. I don't
Yeah,
know about like
At
I've
least
never heard.
SJWs pay each other.
I've never
Comicsgate
heard
can't
of
even do that.
Right. I've never heard of Dan Slott or Mark Waid or anybody stealing money from people, but then Donald does and Ethan encourages it. And all of CG, like I've showed you before and I posted it on Kiwi Farms before, that all those replies Donald would get from people that when they're like, oh, don't pay Nasser, don't pay him. And it's all these CG people, all these people, like you go to their profile and they've got Comicsgate everywhere.
Say that?
Right. It's all these Comicsgate people.
Not to pay somebody. Even if you really hated them, if they're owed the money, you should say, well, pay them what they're owed anyway. Render unto Caesar, one could even say.
Right.
And in this case, Nasser is the true Caesar because Ethan Van Sciver not only betrayed him, but now is complicit in stealing money from him.
Right. And now Ethan's like, oh, well, you didn't pack half the boxes. And that doesn't matter because our agreement was that I was still going to get half, that we were both going to get 50-50 no matter what. So... And now he's trying to change the logic. And he was telling me in my DMs, he's like, well, didn't Donald rewrite the whole book? And no, he didn't. The answer is no. I did an entire script comparison in a video and a stream. There's 2 parts to it where I went over the whole script versus the PDF he put out. All he did was he added like, I don't know, 5 word bubbles. You know, he just added a couple word bubbles. It's exactly what I wrote. Everything that I said happens is exactly what happens.
He just made it worse. He took your writing and made it worse, objectively, like in a quantifiable way.
Right, but Ethan's like, no, he rewrote the whole book. I'm like, no, he didn't, Ethan. Ethan's like, did you package half of it?
You actually proved right there, just by that Ethan Van Sciver lies and has no remorse for lying, for even getting caught lying. He doesn't care.
Right, he has no remorse because I mean he makes he makes 3 million books he makes $3 million on his frog books. So what does he care about what happens to me? What does he care about me? You know, he makes $3 million and he's like, no, it's okay. You could steal from this guy. I make nothing, man. I just got a part-time job recently, but I have $3,000 to my name. I have no money. While this guy rakes in millions, while Donald gets to work with Cecil and their book brings in $250,000 and they get to steal from me, the guy with the least.
Yeah, the money, the guy, the criminal sociopath with the money gets to step on the real underdog, which is Nasser here. Ethan Van Sciver clearly has no capacity for human empathy, but certainly none for you because you're the smaller person, you're the less recognizable person, you're less familiar. So Ethan Van Sciver has absolutely no capacity for empathy when it comes to you. He's like, yeah, go ahead and steal from this guy. He's a nobody. That's part of the whole, the mindset, not just behind him, but the entire movement. It's why the movement has failed on the level of its principles. Is that, I mean, you got people here encouraging theft. Ethan Van Sciver himself is encouraging theft and an accessory to theft.
Right.
And that's on top of the other like scams and weird back alley dealings, that he's very familiar with.
My favorite joke about all that is when you said Ethan Van Sciver thinks gay ops means when you tell the truth.
Yeah, well, that's actually what happened. Is somebody told the truth, and he actually said, "Oh, those are gay ops. So they're doing gay ops." And it's like that. There was actual screenshots of like proving it true, and so in that case, it was literal truth, literally the truth that Ethan Van Sciver called the truth gay ops, because he doesn't really know what he means. He's just an old, like, he looks like he's 80, but so you can call him a boomer in that sense, but I guess he's only like 40 something. But
Something like that.
he's embarrassingly old and really out of touch about
Right.
these hip, cool internet terms that the kids throw around these days. He
Well-
really doesn't know what they mean. But when he tries to use them, it's just embarrassing.
Well, Bianca Fights the Zombie says, I know you were listening, EVS, just jump in here. Ethan has the link, and as
Yeah, he
soon
got
as
sent the invite already.
and he kept saying no, he's like, I'm gonna stay right here in the chat. And as soon as Thomas was like, well, I'll come on if he isn't, and I sent Thomas the link, Ethan's like, oh well, now I gotta go. So I don't know what he's scared of.
Backed off like an immense coward. He was an immense coward. He was, historically known for being an immense coward.
Right, him and Donald, both cowards. Neither of them will come on here. I mean,
well, that's anyone who would block somebody just over being disagreed with. Ethan Van Sciver did that years ago to a lot of people, including me. Donald did that. Cecil did that also to me, and I never even messaged the guy or tweeted at him about anything. And who else was it? I don't know. Some other people did that too. Well, like Yellow Tug, Umbrella, Flash, whatever.
Yeah, all 10 of them.
Yeah, all 10 of Yellow, Umbrella, whatever they even are anymore. Speaking of criminals, of course, which
right, and
apparently, like Yellow Umbrella, it's illegal for him to own guns, but he posted pictures of him with guns anyways because he has a criminal record. That's what I heard, anyways.
And Melter makes a good point here. Like Ethan spurgs out over getting a refund, but imagine if the money was stolen. Like a refund is not stolen money. That's just business. But like getting stolen from, like, could you imagine if Ethan had a campaign and then somebody he's working with was like, well, I'm taking all the money now, and you're not getting credit for the campaign, and you're not getting a single
you
cent
think
from
Ethan
it.
would sue maybe if
Yeah,
somebody owed
probably.
him money and they just didn't pay? Like if Dynamite, he was sucking Dynamite's dick for so long behind the scenes when people weren't knowing about it. But if like he did all this stuff and Dynamite didn't pay him, you think Ethan would just be like, oh, I guess I better just accept not getting paid by this comics company that my supposed indie cred is tied to somehow.
Right.
Nobody thinks that's suspicious, by the way, that he was, claiming to be a champion of indie comics, but he had Dynamite Comics doing like publishing and fulfilling for him, apparently. According to him, anyways. I mean,
no, yeah,
he
they were
lied so
doing
many
his printing
times.
and fulfillment.
That's even true.
Right. Dave says, "Where's Richard Meyer? Shouldn't he be making videos about this?"
I
emailed him before about the Brutus situation. He ignored me. Me and Richard, we used to talk a little bit, and I had given him video suggestions before that he even did. And
so did I, by the way. A lot of people don't know that either, but I gave him video suggestion ideas.
Yeah,
but he did. I think one though. I don't know.
But like he used to reply to all my emails. He used to mention me in videos. He mentioned my.
He would dodge my emails. I mean, not to keep shoehorning in, but it's weird is that he talked about how he would always respond to every email, and I can believe it that he would respond to your emails, but I would email him like maybe once a week or something, and he would never respond to any of them. And then like 2 years later, I still have this too. I could show it. 2 years later, he replied to one of my emails being like, "Oh, that's a good idea for video. I'll do a video about that."
I think I remember him one time. Like this might be the reason. I think one time he said like, "I realized I had a bunch of starred emails that I have to go back and reply to." So maybe that could have been it. I don't know.
So he doesn't reply to every email though.
Maybe I don't know. But the point is like he used to mention me in videos until
I remember that
until CG smeared me, and so yeah, Richard's a backer of this campaign too.
It was very strange that he would be complicit if he's such an honest person that he would be completely complicit in depersoning you because other people in Comicsgate were too.
And he's a backer of Brutus too. He backed this campaign. I'm sure he knows what's going on. I emailed him about it, and he said nothing.
What did he say about it?
He said nothing. He said absolutely nothing. He's a coward.
Well, that's weird because that's an email, at the very least, a private communication. It's like, what is he afraid of people finding out that he replied to your emails? But apparently, he's so afraid. Richard C. Meyer is so afraid of being found out that he replied to Nasser Rabadi's emails.
Right. Let's see. RCM doesn't care. He wants to just make dull videos about how he hates the SJW comics he spends his money on every week. Oh, for real. He's
Mhm.
just a big crybaby, and the only people that like to watch his videos are just other crybabies.
It's weird though. People say that, oh no, he's a military veteran. But what Terrence Popp always said is that just because you may have be brave under fire, but doesn't mean you have actual moral bravery. Like he's known people. Terrence Popp was like a Green Beret. And he's known people in the military. Sergeant Popp, no, he knows people who in the military, they would when bullets are flying over their heads, they would be brave. But when it came to making a moral decision, like back in the world, if it's like, hey, this guy's lying, are you can do something about it, they would back down. And it's like, there's such a thing as being a moral coward against being like a physical brave person.
Oh man, Wesley Haymaker, I've never heard of this person before, says, "A deal fell through. You are a fool. Bye forever. Bye
uh,
forever."
you
This
lost
is
a customer that you were never going to have
this
ever.
is the first time in the absolute history of my channel that this guy has ever remotely showed up for like a tenth of a second.
Probably a sock puppet.
It-
But also like on Twitter, there would be always some suspicious nobody who suddenly would reply to people being like, Ethan's a great person. It's like, who is this? Oh, it's probably Ethan. But on the Strictly Jake account on YouTube, that one was Ethan Van Sky. The thing is that they may also, pass around the passwords to the account, so it doesn't always necessarily need to be him. But we did catch him on that once.
but like, it's so stupid how this dude's like, "Oh, well, a deal fell through." No, it's not like some
You were
like
stolen from. It's
right,
not a deal falling
right.
through if you
It's
get
not
robbed.
like it's not like an artist was like, "Oh, hey, I'll draw your script," and then the next day they're like, "Never mind." It's like no, it's like he drew it. We had the campaign.
Of course,
We got all
yeah.
this money, and then he took my credit away, and now he's not going to
Well,
pay me. He's ignoring my emails. I sent him an email today because I don't know if you saw earlier when I shared my screen, but he posted a picture of all these shelves and shelves of all these books that are packaged up. He paid
they
for the
don't look like
postage.
books. They look like just cardboard wrappings. I didn't see any books in there.
Well, well, I mean, well, here, let me share my screen and we'll take a look at
I
it.
think I did see that, but yeah, I mean, it depends on which one you showed. The
Well,
one thing that,
here's,
yeah, that I don't see any books. I just see a cardboard wrapping. Now that
well,
there could be books in there, but that
yeah, but he says, he's like, "Use guys made this possible, ready to ship Monday, October 5th." So he's ready to ship it out. He's like, as soon as it's Monday, I'll ship it out because they're all done. And I emailed him. I'm like, well, you're done now, so you know the split. What is it? And he ignored me. And he's been active on Twitter, so he's purposely ignored my
I mean, at
email.
this point, he owes you plus interest, so he should be giving you like 60%.
Right. But then he says here, can't thank every one of you enough and Ethan Van Sciver for his invaluable help and guidance. Forever grateful to you all.
What's
Well,
the
what does that
guidance?
mean? Ethan
What?
tells us here. Ethan, because I
Oh,
posted that screenshot and I said, so where is my half? Because it's already
literal
here.
thief, literal thief,
And
Ethan Van
right.
Sciver.
And Ethan replies, he's like, I like how he thanked me for my guidance. Get your book done and pay Nasser, and then don't worry about paying Nasser. You're welcome, Donald. So he's saying here, oh, at first it was, get it done and pay Nasser. Then it turned into don't worry about paying Nasser. And I messaged Ethan about this, and Ethan says, oh, well, oh no, because, that Rick rolled video, and like, oh my goodness,
Which is
like,
not even close to an excuse. It's not
right.
even like an official rationalization. Like if you were in court, I'm pretty sure they would execute you for even trying to say it. They would just shoot you
Right.
right there. The bait,
Like,
you shoot this man.
Like, look, dude, I don't even mention Ethan in that video or Donald or anything. I was just like I'm sure, like you watched it. Like it was just me, like, hey, these are my books from CG, and thank you, CG. I made some mistakes, and then it's like then it just cuts to the Rickroll. Like it's like that's it.
Yeah, I
Like
saw that
it's
was a goof. If anything, the only problem with that is well, I would say, it's such an old meme, but the thing is, it actually, Rickrolling became so old that doing it again is kind of cool because now nobody expects it again. So
yes,
it's doubly ironic or triply ironic now.
that's what made it gold. But like now he's like, oh, you rickrolled, and then now
You
he's
did a
like,
Rickroll video, therefore it's okay for somebody to actually in real life steal money from you. It's like if somebody the whole the deal fell through. It's like if somebody broke into your house and stole your TV, and you try to go to the police and they're like, oh, the deal for your TV fell through, and it's like, no, it was stolen from me. That's the reality of what it is.
right, right, and like I don't know, dude. It's just like what would their reaction be if like Donald did this to Cecil, like with cash grab, like he took all the money, like
Oh,
they'd
they would be
clearly be
having a
outraged,
conniption,
and like
obviously.
and like the thing is, like it shouldn't matter who it happens to. It should just be that stealing is wrong. But instead, CG's like, oh, we don't like you, so Donald, you could steal all the money because he rickrolled us. Like, how thin-skinned do you have to be? Like, how
You'd have to
fragile
be
do you have to
so
be?
thin-skinned. You'd have to be what scientists refer to as Ethan Van Sciver skin. Sciver skin, sort of like the Sciver backup crew. What was it? I just posted it again yesterday. It was like
I don't
the
know.
Sciver cover crew or something. No, again, I have to find it. I actually named it properly in my folder because I thought it was funny enough to save. Let's see.
Oh man. Well, let's see what else is
Oh,
going on in.
Sciver Bailout Brigade. When he worked at Marvel, they had something called the Sciver Bailout Brigade, where a bunch of other artists would just help, do the art for him, just finish the comic for him. And it's like, wow, that's kind of sad.
Bianca Fights the Zombies says you have to put a good picture in your Amazon profile. A blank spot looks shady. I don't know how that'd be shady since you're buying it from Amazon, not me. But I mean, I guess I'll find something. But yeah, if
Oh
you guys
well,
want,
on Amazon, like filling out your profile is kind of more work. It's like, who cares? But yeah, I understand. It's like having the egg account. One of your egg
right?
accounts on it looks like a burner account. But on Amazon, you could just go by like how much stuff you have to sell. If you have more than two products or more than one product, if you have two products, you're clearly a person who is a real person making.
Right, and
I
I've got
mean,
five.
if you're on Amazon at all, if you're selling something on Amazon, you are definitely a real person.
Right.
Do
But
I have a thing on my Amazon account?
but speaking of Amazon, there's the link to my books down in the chat. It's also in the description. They
Oh,
can't steal from me if you buy my books on Amazon. So that's money
where
I'll
would
actually
mine
get.
even be?
Hold on, let me catch up a little bit in the
View
chat.
on Amazon US. See, that's the thing. When I go here, there's no option to be like fill in a face for your name or whatever. It's like, yeah.
Oh, well, it's if you did. Well, did you create your Author Central page?
Not. I mean, when you click on Randisha Diaz, it's like villains of the
Well,
Snow
yeah,
Sea, number
well,
one,
it's gonna
literally
come
number
up with
one.
that page, but then if you go to Author Central on Amazon, that's it'll make it like a little bit more of an
I don't
official.
even know where that is.
Oh,
That's the
just
thing, though.
Google it.
I would assume if I can't just find it at a click, that it's not that important for me to fill out.
Yeah, but Full Custom Hot Dog says, "I love how the angle is now. Well, you're not helping to pack the books." Yeah, that's what Ethan was saying in my DMs, and he said it here in the
Yeah, if
chat.
you wrote it, you're more important than the artist. Your role as a writer is always
It would
going to be
not
more
exist
important than the
without me.
artist, to be honest.
It would not exist without me. Like he had no story. He's just like this guy. Make him Wolverine, and that was it. He's like Wolverine in space, and I was like, okay. And then I
You mean
created
Lobo? Okay, I'll make
right,
Lobo.
right. Well, he said Lobo, and I was like, well, I've never read Lobo. And then he's like, well,
Oh.
have you read Wolverine before? I'm like, well, yeah. And he's like, okay, Wolverine
Well,
in
everyone's
space.
familiar with Wolverine at least, but yeah, it's like fucking.
Yeah.
The funny
So
thing is that it's kind of an insult to Lobo because Lobo was actually tongue in cheek and really funny. Um,
right.
so Wolverine in space doesn't really describe Lobo either. Lobo is like I think a way better character, but not to say that maybe Donald's onto something with how Lobo's cool, but it's like is that all he had then though was Lobo?
Yeah,
Like, I like
yeah,
Lobo.
that and he had like one drawing of Brutus. He's like, "Well, this is Brutus and like, can you write him?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So then I wrote 4 issues of it, multiple drafts of 4 issues, and
Mhm.
I created the personality, the side characters, all the backstory, everything that happened, all our future plans.
A
I
young,
had all that.
hungry
I created
writer, filling in, doing in all the work for an artist to just coast on that. One thing I learned about having the script written is that when an artist has a script to work off, they could just coast easily. It's smooth sailing for the artist to just have everything just planned out right in front of them. And Donald definitely not appreciative of that. And then Ethan Van Sciver, of course, not appreciative of that by telling him to rip you off and steal
Well,
money from you.
and Ethan's like, well, did you pack the books? Well, then by that logic, then Dynamite should get all the money from his campaign
Yeah,
since they
exactly.
printed.
Dynamite should get all of the money. In fact, Dynamite may have gotten a lot of money from Ethan's campaigns, as well as don't forget whenever Ethan's like, I made this much money from it, he's counting the shipping costs, which could be as much as half. It could be like half of every single sale is the cost of shipping. And the thing is that Ethan does also pocket as much of that money. So if you pay Ethan Van Sciver $10 for shipping, even he's going to pocket like at least $5 of that and give you only $5. Usually less. He'll give you like $2 or $3 for shipping.
Yeah.
At best.
Let's see. Melter says, I bet the books will look worse than Stealing Solo and Blood Honey, and Donald will blame others again and never send out better versions of the book. Well,
Well,
I don't know.
he'll promise better versions of the book, but yeah, never send them.
Yeah, I was about to say it's kind of tough to beat Stealing Solo because that at least Donald, bought cardboard boxes. Like Stealing Solo was just like dumped into the mail with the postage on the back cover.
Although putting your comics into Ziploc bags, which are I didn't actually know this. Like I always knew, the poly bag protects your comic. Is like really does it, and it's like yeah, actually, because a Ziploc bag is like will sort of create the acidic effect that deteriorates your books, and it's like and somebody I already forgot who, but somebody in Comicsgate shipped their comics in Ziploc
I think it was
bags.
Wenger, something of that.
Oh yeah.
Wenger. I don't know,
Just
but
another thief in the
right.
thief movement of Comicsgate. That's a scam movement for criminals, literal criminals, and just frauds in general who don't even make comic books. They're just pretending to LARPing at making comic books.
Warren JB says, I look at people like Donald DeLay and I think the comic book guy from The Simpsons was a very accurate caricature.
Not just him. I mean, him and Ethan and who's the other? There's two other There's Yellow Umbrella, of course, which is 10 people, including who's the really really dumb guy who is like, maybe you should curse God for giving me the big brain. That's that fucking hilarious. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh man, I've only seen a couple episodes of The Simpsons, but I think I remember one. I think I remember like one scene with this guy where like something was supposedly in mint condition, and somebody like I don't know bent a corner or something, and he started to cry.
Or like you take something out of the package. I mean, I think that was actually more for Dexter's Lab episode. If you took it out of the package, it's worthless. But also there's Eltingville Club, which is I don't know if I'll say a basis for a comic book guy, but it's a really good distillation of comic book guy. If there was a comic book about him, but it was multiple of him, it's just all these teen nerds. And Casey Green sort of did a rip off of that with the Anime Club, where it was just all these nerds who are constantly fighting with each other and then arguing about which comic book is better or what superhero can beat up what other superhero.
Right. Which is like the lowest tier of discussion for anything, just like who could beat up who? Like that is like the lowest tier of any sort of book discussion.
You know what's sad is that the comic book version of Kick-Ass actually had better versions of even those arguments, where they were arguing about like why Peter Parker didn't have the web shooters that he designed, the mechanical ones in the movie. It's like, people would have laughed out the audience. A guy who just so happens to have spider powers also makes up an invention that's never been seen before. That it's impossible, and it's very comic book argument. But I always kind of like that part of the Kick-Ass comic, which is a very weird comic actually when you think about it.
Yeah, I saw the movie years ago, but I never read
it. The movie is very different because the movie has like a happy ending. At the end of the comic, the girl doesn't fall in love with him. She has all the jock boyfriends beat him up at the end. That's after he won. After the day is
that's a much better ending.
But it's kind of twist. It's twist from the twisted mind of Mark Millar.
Robot Mechanic says it's a lame excuse to steal. If they can't find a lame excuse, they make one up. Yeah, they have no legit reason to steal from me. So they just make it up. That's all they've done from the start. When they excommunicated me from CG, they made it up. They made up like, you made fun of Tug having a miscarriage, even though his wife has been pregnant for months. They had a miscarriage and you made fun of it. which doesn't make sense and is
Yeah,
easily
which
disproven.
not
And
only
I
you
disproved
never
it.
did that, and
I
not only did you
disproved
never
it.
do that, but you had proof that you never did it. And
Video
they were like, oh,
evidence.
well, who cares?
They CG looks at video evidence and they're like, no, it's a lie because Yellow Umbrella said so. So
Yellow umbrella.
from the start, that's what it was. They're making up dumb excuses to get rid of me for who even knows why, just because it's the thing to do that week. They always had to get rid
Well,
of
there's
somebody.
the paring down. There has to be like the thing about a hug box is there always has to be an enemy. In fact, it's funny. The main antagonist of the Kick-Ass comic was just some mobsters, and the mobsters are like, "Why did you even come after us?" And it's Hit Girl's dad says we needed a villain, and that's literally it. That's the only reason is that the comic book nerd needs the villain, and every hug box it inherently has to have some target, somebody to point at and say, "This is the bad guy." And then, eventually, all the rage cools and everything starts to sort of
Well,
to fizzle out. And so they need to come up with another bad guy. And the easiest place is from within your own movement. So Comicsgate was always picking out somebody else from within Comicsgate to turn into the next enemy. That's
well,
how every hug box has always worked. It's how you know a hug box even exists, is because it has its enemies are from within its own movement. That's the nature, the inherent nature of a hug box. You can measure it down to the like an exact science. And it's criminally understudied, but except by us, of course.
right, and like this is how like dumb they are. Like before I even got kicked out, like I was catching heat for like the stupidest thing, which was I didn't put my book up on IndieCron, Blood Reaper when we launched, and we didn't put it on IndieCron because first of all, IndieCron's retarded and it doesn't bring in any new customers. It's just another hug box. It's just like we put all
Yeah, it
our
was
books
another
on
part of the
IndieCron.
gatekeeping. Like they even asked me, they sent me a message being like, "Are you Comicsgate or not? Yes or no?" And it's
But
like, I don't know. This was in 2018 too. I was like, I have no fucking clue because I was always for comic liberty, the thing that existed, the real version of like the
right,
Gamergate of comics before Comicsgate ever existed, which was like free speech first, which means even you don't like the SJW comics. First of all, they can make whatever shitty comics they want as long as you can make your own comics. Always support someone's freedom of speech, even if you don't like the comics. That's what we were saying in 2015. Then Comicsgate comes along and is like, no, no, not that. And it was like, well, then I guess I'm not
right.
Comicsgate according to them. I don't know.
Right, but then what happened was like they used to be like, oh, any book could be on IndieCron, and then this is really when I realized how much of a cult they were when they were like,
Yeah.
no, it's going to be CG only, and then so my next book, I was like, well, no, I'm not going to put it on there because nobody I worked with on either of my two comics was CG. I used the same team for both of my comics. Sean Langley was the artist. Joey Turnage did the lettering and formatting, and both of them, neither of them are CG. I was the only one, and so when they're like, "This is CG only," I was like, "Well, I'm not going to put it on there because my
Yeah, because
the
it's
people I'm
just a
working with, they're
comic. It's
not
like, who
CG."
cares what
And
movement it belongs to? Can it just be a
right,
comic book?
right, and then like let's see, what happened after that was. I'm trying to remember exactly how it went. Okay. Well, then after that, they started to tell me, like people like in chats and stuff. They're like, "Is Trixie CG or not?" And I'm like, "Trixie Kane Blood Reaper's a comic book. How could a comic book be CG?" And they
And what
just
would that
kept
matter unless, like,
right.
if the comic's good, all that should
and
matter. Buy it if it's
and
good.
it was like mostly like the war campaign people asking me that. Like I would be on Ethan's stream like, "Hey, buy Trixie," and they were in the chat like, "Is it CG?" And I think that's what led to them,
That's
spreading.
thin-skinned right there.
That was that
Inherently
was
thin-skinned to even ask that. It's
that
thin.
was what led to them like spreading their lies about me. Like that's sort of I guess what started it all. Was when they were on a stream and they were lying about me like Nasser shares backer information, he shared it with Doug, and that's why I blocked them. And then they cried to Donald about it, and that's why Donald decided to steal Brutus. Like that's what happened, and that's what I showed in all the DMs we looked at. Which I looked at on my channel, DA Talks' channel, on your channel, that I really hope you get back or hope the stream's mirrored, so it could be re-uploaded somewhere.
Yeah, I think I mirrored all the videos. Although again, BitChute eats some of them, so I have to re-upload them like a few times. One of them I had to re-upload like 5 times, and it's like, but I think it finally took. It
Gotcha.
needs some of the thumbnails too, but it's like whatever. I don't really care that much.
Right. But if you guys look at the Leaving Comics video, like it's all in there. Like this is what I've talked about on all these streams I've done on and videos I've done on my channel, other people's channels. So um that's why, like, I guess it came from like a few different things. Like the stuff with Tug was like when he was like, I am the bestest pro in the world, I'm so professional, and I replied to him on Twitter and I was like, well, no, you did this thing that was sort of well, not sort of SJW, that was SJW, when he like changed the pronouns in his bio because some guy he didn't like on Twitter called him a him, and he's like, no, I'm actually a they them. So and then he reported the dude and got him kicked off, and I'm like, well, no, you did that, and that's SJW. And then
Yeah, like
he
doing it as a joke, like I'm they them, like to be ironic. It's like okay, we get it, you know.
But no, but then he started to like he's look
But if you
this
kick
guy
somebody off, you are
this
officially
guy's
an SJW.
this guy's like 45 years old, and he started to scream to me after that like, no, we have enemies, man, you don't get it. And then he like messaged me to
I
rant.
mean, I
Like,
knew fucking Yellow Tug was always a giant baby, and that's just more proof of it.
but
No
no, like
wonder Sciver
I
was
even
such good friends with him.
I even showed off these DMs. Like he messaged me with like these long rants. Like he wrote like a whole book, and then he blocked me, and then like 5 minutes later he would unblock me and send me another big rant, and I'm just like, dude, make up your mind. Like
Yeah,
he's
that's
really
mental.
insane.
That's actually mental illness.
Yes, it is.
I'm not joking or just throwing that out. That's actually mental illness to do that.
I really don't know how I fit in with those guys for so long.
Well, clearly you didn't.
Yeah,
That answers that, doesn't it? You didn't
true.
get in with them very long at all.
Let's see. That's a good point right there. If Donald refused to pay Cecil, that would
Hmm.
be a week-long drama, at least a week,
Yeah.
long drama fest with an outpouring of sympathy for Cecil and the words loyalty and principles getting thrown around. And
Yeah.
Luster Dog X, don't forget the GoFundMe they would do. They
Oh
would
yeah.
do some GoFundMe. They're
What
like,
they would do a GoFundMe is like, here, get him the money that he's owed from this person, or money to sue you, or both, you know, whatever. But
right,
yeah, not just a week long thing, but it'd be sympathy for Cecil, who is like, what has he done for comics again?
literally nothing.
Yeah,
Like
still
oh
to
my
this
goodness.
day, not
I
not
remember
for
I
one
remember
thing.
one time I remember one time this is probably back in like December. Ethan was messaging me about me leaving CG, and although he knew everything that happened, I reiterated like the whole thing. I went through it all again and told him. And then he started to say things like oh my goodness, I'm trying to recall it. Like I think we already talked about this before, but like oh my goodness, I'm losing my train of thought here.
There's so much to go through. I mean,
Like
and it's all been covered on our channel. Oh wait, our channel's gone. But the
rip
thing
your
is, you
channel.
can find the backups on my BitChute channel. It's just Kawhi Thomas on BitChute if you just search for that.
Oh, but hold on, but okay, hold on, I got it now. But he was saying something like, "Oh well, I just asked CG if you could come back, and they said no." And I was like, "What do you mean you asked CG? Like you did a stream or something, or like you asked like your group chat?" He's
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
who
I
is
asked the group chat."
CG?
He's like, "Oh no, I asked the other guys. I asked the group chat." And then he's like,
So
they
leaders then.
right," and then he's like, "They feel like you haven't like." Earned it and like and I'm like, bro, what have any of them done besides sit and cry on YouTube all day? Like I've confronted two people at conventions, and there's video evidence of those. I took videos and they all praised it, passed it around. I put out two comic books. None of those guys have done anything like that besides just cry and complain.
Yeah, none of them have made comic. None of them have ever even thought of making comics before. You're basically just starting off with writing. And it's like, so when you're a writer, you can. It's also, it was hilarious though to think that Comicsgate must be really tiny if you can just ask a group chat and whatever they decide is what Comicsgate decides. That's like what, 20 people. Comicsgate's
Right.
like 20 people tops. Tiny,
Right.
very insignificant. Very
Right. And
flat.
I think with a lot of them, like, you know, I had just turned 21 4 days before we launched my first campaign, Stardust. I had turned 21 just 4 days before that,
Yeah,
and
in a group of all these 40-year-old
yeah, and
pathetic
that's the
boomers.
thing is like I had success very young, and I mean they took it away, but I had success very young, and I think a lot of people get jealous over that. Like I can't even begin to
Yeah.
tell you how many people had you know like just weirdo spurgs were like, no, you're so like stuck up about it, and I'm just like, well how? And you know people are like, oh, you're being arrogant about it, but I don't think I was, and I think I had success early. I think that bugged a lot of people. I think they were jealous.
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, you can even sense that from the top guys, like definitely Ethan, because Ethan and Malin and all these other guys, they had tried and tried, to be in the industry. Then all of a sudden you come in and you're pumping out a comic before any of them can finish it. It's it's embarrassing to show them up like that. The same way they got shown up by a lot of other people who eventually became enemies and betrayers of the
Right.
movement, allegedly.
Right. Anybody that actually finds any success, they end up becoming a traitor. Like Tim and Mark, like they put out great books, and like they,
I'm
they
really
don't
looking
have.
forward to Common America too.
Yeah, same here.
It
Everybody
just
should go
yeah, it
back
just
it.
cracked like 50,000.
Yeah, yeah, and like the thing is like those guys are putting out like great books, and and they didn't, go, they weren't part of the industry, and then
Yeah, they
you
didn't
see
play
like
the victim. They weren't like, oh,
yeah,
we got censored. They're like, hey,
yeah,
here's some good books. That's it.
yeah, and like you could just sense the jealousy, like how dare these guys make books and they're not a former Marvel pro like I
But
was.
there's also that mentally ill component of not just jealousy, but then at the same time trying to pretend to be great, like the fake graciousness, which is another sign of like being a sociopath, or I think it's more borderline personality disorder and psychopathy or psychopathy, if you will, is is when you're really pissed off at someone, you pretend to be gracious and glad for their
Right,
success when you're really not, and that's
right.
Ethan Van Sciver
But
is clinically diagnosed with.
oh man, here's one of my former fans, and it's so funny how quickly they turn on you. Like one day they're like, "Oh my goodness, it's Nasser! Like I love this guy. He's Ethan's friend. Like this guy, like he sticks it to SJWs." So we got Llama Gigante, such a crazy name. Says Nasser, just stop being a twat, man. Just stop. Like he has no argument. He's like, oh, just stop.
Not
He's
an
like,
argument,
and
but
then
also
now
yeah, it goes to show how this is what it looks like when somebody has no beliefs at all. They're like
like
they're being a twat because you got stolen from,
right.
somebody stole money from you and they're blaming you for it. That's how you know this person doesn't believe in anything and doesn't have any principles. They don't have any morals, and I really hope they're not raising children, but a lot of people in Comicsgate do have kids, and those
Somehow,
people are
I don't know how.
either destined for the pole or for jail.
And but Llama Gigante also continues says, "Oh God, the irony! Like nobody has any argument if they just like they're like just stop, and then they're like,
Also
oh
not an
the
argument, just
irony,
saying the irony. I could say the irony. I'm not making an argument now either.
like what is this?"
Yeah,
But he's like poor Nasser didn't do even one thing wrong.
yeah, well, name one thing.
Right,
Can anyone name
right,
even one thing? No, they can't. No, you can't. Don't even
right.
try. But
That's and
can we
he's
wrap
like,
up like at an hour? I think because I think an hour long is good. If
yeah,
we
we're
could
gonna.
go for 2 hours, I'm sure I could get my brother in here. We could just go forever.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we could go for a few more. We'll go at least an hour. Did you want to go or like you want to keep going or what?
Well, I wanted to cash out and mention that our channel, Kawhi Thomas on BitChute, that has mirrors of all our videos that got banned from YouTube by Comicsgate. Ethan Van Sciver not only encouraging people to steal money from Nasser, but paid people who then false flagged our channel. So he's also directly involved. He has direct collusion with false
Right, and like
flaggatry, as the kids call it.
right, like he's like first of all he's open about this. He's admitting like yeah, Donald steal from
Yeah,
Nasser. Like he's
it's just out in the
like
there's no denying it anymore.
yeah, like this one's out in the open. So why is there any reason to believe that he wasn't paying Liam in any sort of malicious way? I don't know. I don't know all the details about that. Of course, this is just speculation.
Well, some of
But
it's speculation, but
right,
Ethan did actually say, yeah,
right. But I mean,
don't pay him.
he did back him like 17 times. So that is sort
Well,
of
yeah, I'm not
strange.
saying that Ethan paid Liam to flag our channel. I'm saying that Liam flagged our channel and that Ethan did objectively pay Liam Gray. So, I mean, that's, there's no denying any of that. Now, we could speculate that he did it for those purposes, especially because paying him so many times over and over again is
Oh my
very
god.
weird.
Okay, well we'll go in a few minutes, but I'm still gonna catch up in
Well,
the chat real
one
quick.
thing I
But
do want to say before wrapping up is that me and my brother are planning to make our first BitChute exclusive video. It will be about how Liam Gray is a criminal and has weird connections to 14-year-old boys. And also, did he beat up his own mother and kill puppies? We will be asking those questions on our BitChute channel. Also, what other criminal activities is Liam Gray involved in? We will be speculating wildly and rampantly on our BitChute channel probably tonight within an hour or two. It won't be live because I don't even know how to stream, but I'll just record a video and we'll upload it tonight on BitChute.
All right, man.
That's
I look forward to watching
Thomas on BitChute.
Kawhi Thomas on BitChute. All right, and we've got some really funny ones in the chat. We're just gonna catch up in the chat, then be done. But Thor Grim 13013 says, "If you have a contract with Donald, be a man and get a lawyer to get your money." Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many people are like, "Yeah, why don't you give a lawyer hundreds of thousands of dollars to fight Donald for the $39,000 campaign?" Like I've had two different lawyers tell me that it would cost so much more than the campaign raised.
Yeah.
To have them
sue if a
him.
lawyer's telling you, it would be more than it's worth,
especially
the lawyer's given their advice.
Especially when me and Donald were, talking about like on the low end, maybe like I think like 4,000 or 5,000, and on the high end like 8,000 or 10,000.
Yeah, not even half. You're not even asking for half. You're asking for like 20% maybe.
Right, like I think $5,000 would be very solid. Like for all the work I did, multiple drafts of 4 issues,
for all the money,
all the
money he took and got. I mean, even when you take out the cost of printing, the cost of shipping, which is
he spent at least $3,500 that I know of.
Yeah, it's like instead of manning up and getting a lawyer, why doesn't Donald man up and give you your money that he owed you the entire time? That's right. If you're not willing to actually put the blame on Donald, you're never going to be a real man yourself. It's funny, all these fucking gay comic book nerds with their fucking Captain America naked hug pillow are going to tell us what a real man's supposed to be. I don't think so.
Oh man, Furious TV says he has the right to call this out until it's resolved. Nasser worked, he spent time, he worked on writing and deserves to be paid. Well, thank you very much, man.
This guy's an artist too. This guy knows. This guy's not a writer. He understands. I know this guy, and he understands what the writer's role actually is, and he actually has an appreciation for it. Which is weird. A lot of artists, no artist in Comicsgate has any respect or appreciation for the writer's work, but you have to go outside of Comicsgate to find artists who have a good appreciation for writers.
Oh boy. Llama Gigante says, "Grow up, Nasser." And then he says, "Nasser is too stupid to understand the opportunity given to him." I've gotten this one a lot, man. Like everybody's
again, that's not an art. That's an evasion. That's a dodge. That's what we used to call that in the old days, a dodge. That's when you can't even come up with anything to say. So you just be like, "Oh, you're being dumb." And it's like there's nothing. There's
right, but all these people are like, "Well, you don't realize the opportunity, man. Like all those former Marvel and DC artists that they were your friends and you could have learned from them." What could I have learned from them? How to be 3 years late on a book? Yeah. What was I going to learn from Mitch?
I mean, that is technically something. How to be 3 years late on a book. I guess you could learn something, but you can see how this guy's just really mad. You could just see this guy's mad.
Right. I've learned more from you and from Tim and Mark and Doug than I'd ever learn from Mitch or Ethan about making a comic.
Because you actually fucking got them out. You finished the comics. You did that before. I've put out more comic books than Ethan Van Sciver.
Somebody says, "Didn't EVS say once that he was king of the gays?" He used to say that all the time.
Yeah. Which is weird because that means he's gay, but he admitted it. The thing is, it is obvious that he actually is gay. Maybe we'll touch on that in our video, on our BitChute exclusive video tonight about Ethan Van Sciver admitting he's gay and being confirmed for being.
Oh man, there's way too many to catch up on, so this might be the last one, or maybe I'll read one more. But Judy Stroyer says, "Well, Nasser, all you had to do was stay quiet about the group's shady BS, and you could be charging $50 for a comic. What an opportunity you had." Yeah, part of that is the 11th commandment of business, thou shalt not embarrass the corporation. I think that's half of it. Yeah. I could. What kind of person would I be, though? What kind of person would I be if I just shut my mouth about all of this? I could have. All I had to do was when Donald first threatened me. He's like, "Unblock War Campaign, or you're not going to be associated with this project anymore." All I had to do was go to Twitter, unblock 10 people, and I could have still been in all their good graces. It could have all been avoided. Well, what kind of complete cuck would I be? I would rather be a person than just shut my mouth and be part of this big group of idiots.
Yeah, an actual doxing ring that attacked other people within the movement exclusively. The entire purpose of War Campaign was to attack other people in Comicsgate. It was a contingent of Comicsgate that attacked itself, basically.
Oh man, Llama Gigante says, "Hi Nasser, I didn't turn on you. Wasn't ever a fan. Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
goodness.
another quote. That's
Whatever
another. I
helps you."
never cared. Like somebody who obviously cared will always say, "I didn't care in the first place." That's how you know they cared.
I don't know. He's still going on about irony or something. I don't even know what he's saying now. But yeah,
Like
Fears
if he
TV.
had an argument, he would clearly like you could have spent any of those comments actually putting out your case. But the thing is, you can't do that to Comicsgate people because they just block you and ban you. But when it comes to people like us who have actual dignity and honesty and integrity, you can go ahead and say, give your entire case right out in comment, spam the comments with your argument all you want. No one will ever block you or anything, but you can't because you don't have an argument. So you lose by default.
Right. And Furious TV reminding everyone, Kawhi Thomas on BitChute. Yes, check that out. And before we go, I mean, hello to everybody I missed. I know we missed like probably 100 chats, but hello, Bullet, Warren JB. I forgot if I said hi to you, but Lama Gigante. I don't know. He's spurging in the chat.
It's funny how many people they are in Comicsgate. You don't really realize until a little while. It always takes a little while, thanks to the magic of the internet. It takes a little while to realize somebody's spurgery because the internet just lets you hide it for a touch of time.
Oh man, EVS and your boy kind of poisoned the role of writers in CG. Visual media, man. No one cares about the writing on your GI Joe slash TMNT ripoff as long as the art looks like.
It was like that before this. It was like that before them. The
Yeah.
community in American comic books never had it. That's just
that was every comic book fan.
Yeah, there was before EVS and Yuba. Those are just symptoms of the existing problem that was before them. But it is, a big part of it. That attitude is the attitude of all the comic book fans and the creators.
And Prodmal says, Animu, how can I betray you wasn't on your side to begin with?
Never really on your side.
Real quick though, okay, now we're gonna end in a moment here, but I just put the links to my books here, and I'm gonna pull up Villains of the Snow Sea real quick on Amazon so we could show your books here.
New comic that one's really good. People are really loving that. Even family members asked for copies of Villains of the Snow Sea, even though it's not really a family comic. I don't really want my family seeing it, but I do want people to see it, so I'll give it to them too.
Yeah, I'm putting the link now. Sorry, it took me a minute to get it up here, but here's the link for Villains of the Snow Sea.
I was gonna say I could link to it, but oh yeah, I don't have a wrench anymore.
Right. Oh man. But anyways, oh, hello, Mike S. Miller says they model their books after the 90s. Art matters, writing doesn't. Definitely.
But
But
2000 also.
basically almost every year of comics.
Yeah, especially after the 90s. Like once the 90s took like Image Comics in a way was a good thing for creators' rights, but it did its own brand of damage to like
everything else.
To everything else basically.
Yeah, but anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up, thumbs down, whichever you prefer. Share out the link though. Ethan is out in the open about this, about how much he supports theft, and he's admitted it. He admitted it earlier in this stream in the chat. He was too scared to come on, but he said it over on Kiwi Farms, over on Twitter, and in my DMs. He's out in the open about encouraging Donald because he's triggered about a Rick roll. But anyways, guys, check out Villains of the Snow Sea. Check out my books. Peace.
Bye.